Hello, everybody. This is Keenan Kel Superfan here on Instagram. This is going to be an absolutely amazing um, moment here for the fan page. I am honored and truly blessed to be joined by the legendary actor Ken Foree. Ken, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
This is truly amazing that this is happening, and without further ado, get right into it.
Sure.
How was the process to get on Keenan and Kell? How did you end up like getting on the show?
I was called to an audition at Universal. I think it was the Black Tower, which is a huge background of yes, I think it's still there in Universal. And I auditioned for about 30 people. Came up there in the room, and I had a good time, and that was it. Shook everyone's hand, all 30 of them, all 20 of them, how many there were, and I got the notice, I think, a few days later that I had the role.
That is amazing. You know, what were some of your best memories on the show? It ran for 4 seasons on television. What were some really good memories that you had while you were on the show?
Oh my goodness, there were many. We had such a ball doing it. It was it was funny. The boys were always hilarious. They were always doing something to of course upset me, and so I was constantly looking at what's coming next from these guys. And we had some great times. It would, every episode was a surprise, and some episodes you get the script in the morning, and I'm sorry, in the midweek, and then by Thursday you had a different script. He said, "Whoa, okay, what happened to that one?" So it's television for you. So it was great. It was a great time. Every day was a different experience. Every week was a different experience, of course. And working with those two very talented young men was a blessing, truly a blessing. They kept
So,
me.
sorry. Um, so, were there particular days like that you guys would shoot on and like particular days for table reads?
Yes, we shot. We had table reads usually on a Monday, I believe. On a Monday, we'd have a table read. Then we would start to work on work on the set in terms of going to the set and working out what we're going to do and what we're going to be in our marks and how we want to work our scenes, that kind of thing. And we would do that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then on Thursday we would shoot for the cameras, and I think on Friday we would shoot for the live audience. So and that was every week. You know, great job. Love those jobs. Most actors do love those jobs. 5 days a week on set and then the weekend free. So if you do a lot of television, and if you do any action adventure or crime shows, that kind of thing, you can do a lot of location work. And location work can go into a lot of hours. You can do 14 hours a day, every day. And some days you might have a Saturday where you might have to work, that kind of thing. So, that's probably the best job in Hollywood is a situation comedy where you just in 5 days a week and you go home to spend the weekends with your family. So,
That's great. Um, I know the first 2 seasons of Keenan and Kell were shot in Florida, and then I believe you guys moved to California for season 3. Seasons 1 and 2 had live crowds, if I am correct on that, and then season 3 was like more studio work.
we
Is
have
that
black crowds both. both both venues. We were shooting in Orlando, and we had huge audiences because Nickelodeon was there, Nickelodeon headquarters. And then Nickelodeon had a studio on Sunset, specifically for that show and maybe some of the shows they were running. And we had our live audiences there as well every Friday. So we had live audiences both places. Yeah, and then, there's always, you know, I've learned that what I think happened and what actually happened can sometimes be different depending on who you're talking to. It's like two people standing on a corner and they both see an accident and you ask them exactly the particulars of the accident and they both have two different stories. Sometimes you never know. I mean, I'm saying that we shot in Sunset, California. May not be true. You never know. So better check me. I'm not always right.
It's totally fine. Working on Keenan and Kell, who were some really important people behind the scenes that really were influential in helping it become a global phenomenon as far as a television show?
Well, the writers, Heath Shivert, also one of the powerhouse producers and executives, Brian Robbins. He's I think he just was head of Nickelodeon recently, and now he's at Paramount. He's head of Paramount, and so we had some very there was some very very talented and very experienced executives that were behind the show and writers that were behind the show that they continue to put out great stuff. Some of the guys are still with Nickelodeon, and some of the writers and some of the producers have moved on, but they've only moved up and moved on to other positions. So we had great people. Excuse me.
No, it's okay. I've seen Keenan and Kell, work on All That, the newer All That, being, I believe, producers for the show. Do you still keep in contact with anyone from the show?
I just text Keenan today. I speak to Kel, and I've seen him several times. So yeah, I keep in touch with them. I haven't seen Vanessa, and I haven't seen Teal in a long time. But I do see both Keenan and Kell. I've seen them recently.
That's really cool. It's really nice to know that.
Dan Frischman as well. Yeah, Dan Frischman. I see him occasionally. I've seen him as well.
That's really nice to know that you guys still keep in touch. Keenan and Kell, in my opinion, was very influential for helping what came down the line. What you guys did for shows to follow, and I think that the show really has stood its time, and a lot of people still love the show, and it's still talked about so many years later. So I think that really attests to all the amazing work that all of you did to make that show just incredible.
Yes, I hear that wherever I go, and they come up and say, "Oh, you're Kenan's dad. You Kenan." And they're usually in their 30s about now because they were 7, 8, and 9 years old at the time we shot, and they're about 35 years old at this point. And I say, which is a surprise. And I ask them, "How old are you?" He said, "I'm 35. I said, "Get out of here." Get away from me. You're making me look old. So I meet so many of them, and they're so kind, and they're so happy to meet me, and I'm thrilled to meet them as well.
The thing that amazed me the most was that, the show made you guys really look like a real family. You all did a great job of just, making it just so relatable to a lot of families out there. And, some people like still get confused. They think like it's a real family, whatever, but it was just so good that it just felt like, a real family, watching it. And, it's just been a cult classic.
Weren't the Cosbys. Weren't the Cosbys, that's for sure. We were a little twisted, but a little more pranky. But we certainly had our audience, and people did like to tune in every Saturday and every Friday, whenever they were. So I think we came on Fridays. I'm not quite sure, but I think it was Fridays.
The amazing thing to me personally is that the pilot episode came out on July 15th, 1996, and the last episode of Keenan and Kell, the Two Heads Are Better Than None movie, ended on July 15th, 2000. So there's exactly a 4-year time span from when the first episode, the pilot, came out to the last production, which was the Two Heads Are Better Than None movie. The same day.
Yes. We were contracted for 4 years, and that's exactly what they gave us.
I wanted to ask, did you get a chance to like take any like props from the set or any wardrobe or anything like that?
No. I never got a chance to do that. No, I didn't get a chance to do that. Any props? No, not really. They were all sight gags, and the guys were using them, and I never. No, I really didn't. I know that. I'm trying to think if there's anything that there was a few props I would have liked to have taken, but no. I mean, I almost got my eye taken out by that monkey. So I'd like to take that monkey's head back. No, I'm just kidding. But
the monkey from season 3.
yes, God,
Wow,
crazy. Guy I was sitting at the on the couch, I think, and the monkey went, and I at the arm of the couch, and the monkey passed by with the trainer. And the little guy just took his hand and swiped and just missed my eye, taking it. And it was if he hadn't taken my eye out, he would have certainly left a huge black eye, So, so I remember that monkey very well. Where's that little critter? Keep him away from me. He's dangerous.
Are there any other like funny things that happen on set at all, or like any reoccurring things at all, like any pranks or anything?
There's always a prank. I mean, it was a story of prank and getting in trouble and getting out of trouble and pranks. So that was always the storyline. But anything other than a monkey, I don't know. There were a few. I think a couple of people went up online. I remember I got a relative of mine came down to visit, and with her daughter, and so I said, this cute little girl, and I said, okay. And then we were having the show we were shooting at that time had a little party for Vanessa, I think, on the set, and the storyline. I think they had a lot of little girls around and that kind of thing. So I said, you want to be an extra? She said, oh, yeah. And so she lined up and got in this, in her place and on a mark. And as soon as they said action, all the little girls had to climb around Vanessa and try to get in and squeeze her. And she couldn't get as close as she wanted. And you could see that she was not very nice, this kid. You could see on her face that she was a little disgruntled. And you're not supposed to be disgruntled on a kid's TV show like that. You're not supposed to show that, especially as an extra. And I never forget it. I said, I think I'll keep my invitations to myself from now on. That was a hard lesson, or a good lesson. You know, don't offer anybody to be an extra or get a job. You don't know what they're gonna do. You
Um, there were like some things when I would watch the show where I would be like, how did they do that? You know, like how did they pull that off? And one with you was when Keenan shot like this like cantaloupe thing,
know?
and it went through the door, and then it like the audience like it looks like it hit you in the head, like, and I thought to myself, how did they like make it look so real? You know?
It's movie magic. Movie magic. You always have a props department and prop masters and special effects people, especially at Nickelodeon, who know exactly how to in any venue in Hollywood or any genre in Hollywood or in film, you're gonna have special effects and prop people that make you think that you're seeing something that you really can't understand why it's being done or how they're doing it. And I don't quite remember the scene you're talking about because it's been so long, but there were so many scenes that we had to had to jerry rig it in a way that something went through a wall or something went over the head or something exploded or something busted and it was all just just the expertise of the prop departments and the special effects people. They're always great, always great.
Yeah, they made it look so real at times, and the thing like for me, I always like to know dates and everything. The last productions of Keenan and Kell came out in 2000, but if you remember, was it 1999 the last year that you guys started like were working on Keenan and Kell?
I think it was. I thought it was. I thought it was about 2000. But it probably 1999. 99 sounds about right. I don't remember.
Okay.
So, yeah, it could have been. I thought it was 2000, and I've made that I've quoted that I have quoted that made that statement. So I guess people have quoted me, but it could have been 1999 going into 2000 when we shot our last episode. And when maybe we walked out of the studio or had the two heads were better than none. I think that was the last episode. I think,
Yep.
and, I think we probably. Well, you can look up Milton Berle was still alive at that point, so I think that was 1999 to 2000, somewhere in there. I have no idea. I don't really know. I'll leave that up to you guys.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I just love knowing production, like when something was shot or whatever. That's just me personally.
Yeah, and they have it documented somewhere, so they would know better than I would. I knew it was about that time because I had other things I had to do, and it was about 2000 that I was involved with those yeah, other jobs, and so I know I wasn't doing Kenan and Kell in the year 2000, so I know that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Um, you know, Keenan and Kell, like I said earlier, really inspired, I think, some of the shows that I grew up with down the line, like Drake and Josh and stuff like that. It just everything just really just flowed well. And what would you say out of all the episodes, would you say like you remember the most, or like was your favorite episode, if you could if you remember?
Oh, Jesus. Uh, I think we went into a restaurant, an Italian restaurant or something. There was spaghetti everywhere or something. I forget what episode that was. I think we were also in I was camp, the camp counselor or something like that. I was a forest ranger or something like that. I think that was, well, The turkey episode has become quite popular, so Thanksgiving turkey episode. Um, the the Christmas episode was
Yeah.
also so so
Uh,
there were quite a few. There were quite a few. I think all I get I think Kel put something in my drink or something, or I drank something that Kel mixed, and I'm in my job as an air traffic controller or something. I get really
yep.
that's, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that whatever I was doing. Yeah.
Uh,
There were a lot of them.
just amazing memories. So I want to thank you so much for your time with me, uh, Ken. It truly means a lot to me that you took the time with me. And is there anything out there that people can look forward to seeing you in, or
Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, I still have two things streaming, and one's on Netflix called John Henry. I play. It's not for the. It's kind of a uh, kind of a rough subject matter. You know, it's a lot of killing and a lot of foul language and that kind of thing. So it's not quite for kids, but it's I play a wacky character, so it gives some laughs to the adults that are now 30. The Keenan and Kell fans that are now 35 can get some laughs. And then there's another one called The Rift. It's on Amazon, and they're both streaming. So there are two things that are out there. I'm also writing at this time, and I'll have a web page going up very soon, kimforee.com. It's not up yet, but it will be going up soon. And I'm writing a 6-hour limited series that I'm trying to push, and also a serial killer script. So I'm behind the camera right now. I'm going to be acting soon. Two projects supposedly this summer. So I will be in front, and I'm behind the camera. I'm learning how difficult it is to be behind the camera as well, because they're both very challenging. So I will be doing that, and those are some of the stuff that I'm involved in. Hopefully, I'll be successful, and you'll see me in other venues and down the line.
so once again, thank you very much, Mr. Ken Foree. It has been an honor. Thank you very much for this time.
Here we go. Take care, guys.
Just a regular audition, just what every actor goes through with the auditioning process, getting a call from your agent and going to the audition. I did not really know what the interview was for, so that's what was so ironic. I got the message, I just didn't have all the details, which is fine. Always, sometimes, less is more, and as an actor, I would always feel, well, if I don't have all the details, it's kind of okay. I like being kind of raw and surprised in what I'm about to do sometimes. And then you just, audition as naturally or as organic as possible, sort of thing. So that's how it worked. Yeah, I didn't even really know what it was, and I knew where to go. So when I got there, I kept seeing a sign that said Nickelodeon. And I thought, okay, I didn't think anything of it. I don't think it's this. And I left back out of the building. It was like on whatever floor, So I took the elevator back down, left out the building, and I looked around again, and then I went back up again, and I just looked so confused, and someone came out and asked. I walked into the office, and they asked me, my name, and then we just went through the whole process. They said, no, you're in the right place. And it was so funny because when they explained to me what I was auditioning for, the way they explained it, it was like this little build-up. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with this show called All That that's on Nickelodeon. I was like, yes. And they said, okay, well, it's these two guys named Keenan and Kell. I was like, yes. And they said, well, those two guys are having their own show called The Keenan and Kell show, and I was like, what? Oh no, and so it was fabulous. And they said, and so you're going to be auditioning for the mom to Keenan, and I just went crazy. I said, okay, we need to send everybody home because this is my part right here. I am the mom of Keenan. And they were laughing hysterically. I was like, no. And it turned out I was really serious. I was like, no, I need everyone to leave. What do we need to do? Tell them the party's taken. Tell them they have like pink eye, something. They need to leave this room immediately, exit stage left, because this is it. The role is mine. And we just had a good time laughing about that because, ironically, I had just been watching all that. I love the show. And I kept saying, and it was funny because I said, I'm a grown person watching this show. Is this kind of awkward? And I remember calling a couple of friends, and I would say, God, there's this show called All That. And I would explain to my friends the show, and then I would always say, there's these two young guys, Keenan and Kell, that are amazing. And I had the nerve to say, God, I would love to work with these guys one day. I said, they're just amazing. That's all I kept saying. And then lo and behold, I'm called in for this part, so it was fabulous. For the first audition, it's usually just the casting director. I did great because they were still laughing at me by the time I came into the room. You don't understand. All I knew was this was my part. So they really thought I was kidding, and I really wanted everyone to leave, and I couldn't understand why they couldn't understand that. I laughed, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm serious. So it was just a funny moment the whole entire time I'm, auditioning in front of the camera. I did great. I knocked it out, and of course, by the time I left out of the room, I called my agent, and they had said, well, you already got the call back. The key was the producers, everyone were flying in that day, and it was going to be like, your callback was going to be within, I would say, I don't know, it was like 5 hours or something. So 3 to 5 hours versus, okay, come back the next day or in 2 days, how typically it may be. So it was like, cool. And it was over at Universal. I kind of just hung around and waited, and then went in, and that's when I was doing my second audition. Oh, it was fabulous. I mean, it was everything. It was great. I mean, this was an awesome opportunity, obviously. You already knew that we were going to film the pilot in Florida, and then sometimes when you just have all that information, you're already mentally there, and so you always have to kind of pull yourself back and just stay in the moment. So it was great to go there. We had a blast. It was just fabulous. It was just a great time, and we had I remember we had a dinner the first night that we all arrived, and I think I was the last one arriving. And I remember Vanessa, who played my daughter, Vanessa Baden, saying they were all kind of like, who is this Teal person? Like, why is she, the last one? Oh, she must be this. And like, all ta-da, all diva-esque sort of say. Because I was the last one coming in, I was like, no, this is the time we did my flight. It wasn't about making a grand entrance, even though it seemed like I made a grand entrance. So I think the minute I got there, I don't even know if I checked into the hotel yet. I think it was just like whisking me to the dinner because it was already in progress. I was coming in very late. So it was great. I mean, meeting everyone, it was just great. It was great. And, we had great producers, great bosses, so it was fabulous. Again, a lot of great energy. It's a comedy, so you had, great writers, great producers. I mean, the whole staff was phenomenal because this was such an exciting time. And then you're in, beautiful Florida, Orlando, Florida, and you're on the studio lot of Universal. I mean, we were actually part of the Universal tours. It was amazing. We just had a great time. So to go to work and, Monday's like your table read day. So that's when you're in the morning, you get to work and you're doing your table read. So that's just going through the script of that episode, one good time, just reading it, hearing everyone's tones and inflections, hearing it for the first time, and then you go have a little break, sort of say, and then you go to the set and begin work. Because it's funny, like people, everyday people are not in this industry. They don't realize that you actually do go to work every day and rehearse. So, people would ask me questions and they would say, "Oh, you go to work every day?" I said, "Well, how do you think we do the show? Do you think we just, show up and do a show? That's not how it works. Not how it works." And so I'm like, "No, you have to rehearse. You rehearse, and every day." And at the time, we filmed on Thursdays and Fridays. So without an audience on a Thursday, I believe, and then with audience on Friday. Yeah, so it was a great day. It was, I'm not going to say easy, for lack of better words. You were at work and getting paid to do what you love to do. Be in sunny Florida on Universal. I mean, my days would then after work, which, mind you, some days were very short days, especially for the parents, because, obviously Kenan and Kell, their show, and in the first season, I'm not going to say we were limited, but, we grew in our characters and in our dialogue. So, we were present. Yes, we had dialogue and scenes to know, but our days were not as long as Kenan and Kell the time. So sometimes, yeah. So it was nice to get off work. My daughter was with me, so, she was having a fabulous time. It's the energy. I think, it's like if you've done, if anyone has done theater, it's that same kind of thing. It's the energy of the people, just like you hear performers talk. What's the difference in studio to your concert? The energy. It's definitely the energy, and you love the connection that you can have with your audience, definitely. To like a party scene, because you have your warm-up guy, you have the DJ, it's great. Live tapings are great, and so you can connect with the people, you can look out there and see everyone's expressions. I remember my cousins came in from Michigan, and, they had been having just long days with their kids because they did the whole Disneyland thing. They were doing all of that, and they were exhausted. These parents were exhausted, okay? Then they come over to us. They have front row seats. It was so cute to me just watching them, not just the kids, but the two adults, mom and dad, laughing so hard they were red. Like literally, they were laughing so hard watching the show, because we had a live taping too. You see all the other things that the people watching it from their homes don't see. Live taping, you're seeing us mess up. You're seeing little things like us dancing in between, the sets. You see all kind of just little things, and it's just so funny. You're just right there. You see it all. If we slip and fall, you get it all. You all the joking that's going on with the warm-up guy and all of that. The dance competitions, they do so much to make it a fun event. So you see so much going on. So my cousins were having a great time. I said having my daughter there at that time, who was, really young. So she was having the best time ever, the best world ever, a charmed life, as I call it. Being able to have all that going on, and then the guys were great with my daughter as well, and I told her, I said, she has mad sense of humor now, because I told her, I said, if you want to be a part of this and come to work with me, sort of say, and all of that, you have to or hang around me at any point with the cast. I said, girl, you better learn comedy. You better learn some comedy. You better I always taught her to kind of laugh at yourself anyway. And I mean, I'm teaching her this at like 3, okay? She had to keep up. So, and she did. She had a mad sense of humor. She was not sensitive about anything. Like if the guys were teasing her about something, or and so that was great that we could all be this. It was very family friendly. Yeah, I just think the simplicity. It's always fun. Shooting period, usually on location, just from the newness of everything, just that it's unfamiliar. I think that was it for me, the simplicity of it all. So, it's just kind of like when you have a new, fresh perspective about something, it's the same thing shooting on location. It's all new, it's fun, it's different, new people, new energy. That's mainly what it is. No, I just think, no, there was no real reason. It's what they did before. Sometimes you get your start in one place and then, maybe the producers ultimately have the goal to come back to here. It could have been a contractual deal from the beginning made like that. I don't know, but it was great. So it was like 2 years in Orlando and then 2 years in Los Angeles. And trust me, Ken and I were like, let's stay here. It was just nice picking up, leaving, getting out of the hubbub, of Los Angeles. But I do know Kenan and Kell, especially at the time, being young men, LA is appealing, it's very appealing. So, and they were used to being here too, keeping because I'm almost certain they were already taping all that here, and so that was good for them. For us, for Ken and I, we were just like, okay, well, back to the grind, and a different way because you live in LA. But then the great thing also was you were able to, in terms of industry, if we're talking industry-wise, you were able to still be involved. So, in other words, casting directors can come see you, other producers, you could still network in a different way. So that was a good thing, too. It was just now you were going to be, you're here with your friends, and so, of course, when people that know you, so now everyone's really calling you about something. It is LA. It's where movies happen and TV happens. So it made sense. It definitely made sense. Yeah, you got back into your kind of. I mean, for us, Ken and I'm saying the more mature people, we said, okay, now we're back at work. Vacation in Florida, you come here, you're like, okay, we're going to work now. And then again, your friends, again, you'll have those distractions, and some people didn't understand how you work. So it was amazing how many people were calling me while I'm working on the set. I'm like, what? I'm on the set. Oh, you're working? Yes. Well, when do you work? What do you mean? When do you work? You go to work every day? I go to work every day. Actually, we got so great at what we were doing. Also, we were able to then go down to 4 days working. So instead of Monday through Friday, we were doing Monday through Thursday. So we really had to be on top of our game. And that was great, pushing you to just know your stuff, being excellent. And so the rehearsals were Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was, a tape day, actually, without studio, without audience. And then Thursday was your taping with audience. So they did allow me to get a pie in my face. I did enjoy that. And they were shocked. You really want to do that? Yes. Like, who doesn't want to get a pie thrown in their face? Are you kidding me? It always looked good to me, like, to get the pie in your face and then you can kind of lick it and like, ooh, So it always looked good to me. So, I like that kind of Lucille Ball, I Love Lucy comedy. I loved when they had us one time jump out the window even. See, I love that. I love that. I couldn't wait till we did things like that until they added some physical comedy to the parents. I couldn't wait. And when we went on when my husband on the show got the new job, and we were all in the wilderness, and how we something with, I think we had something dumped down the spin. Oh yeah, some water or something went through. I mean, I think that was great. I loved that physical comedy. Loved it. I wish I had did more. You know, I remember Malcolm. He was taping our show at the time, directing our show, and he had to stop. We had to pull it together. They were like, "You guys, you have to pull it together," because it was Kel's dialogue, and you know, to this day I laugh because it's like, how can you portray this character so seriously? You know? Oh, and that made it funny, especially when you're up in their face. And so when the cameras were not on us, we were literally dying laughing. I actually love it. Ironically, taking my daughter to the airport the other day and seeing her off, you know, to play. You know, she's a basketball player. She's traveling internationally to go play, and so we're at the airport, and as she's going through the gate, there was this nice gentleman. And I even kept saying, "Oh, he's so happy. You look at him. He just, you know, he was just smiling and happy and taking tickets. It was great. I just respected that. I'm a young guy too." And so my daughter goes through, and we're like, "Goodbye." I'm like, "I love you. So proud of you. I love you." You know, doing all of that. And as I'm watching her, the gentleman is kind of like looking at me, and he's just like, "God, do I know? I know you. Do I know you?" And then I was like, "You do?" He said, "You look so familiar." And he was doing his hand, like, think of like Madonna and Vogue. And so he's doing his hands like your face. I like know you. I was like, "You do?" He said, "Okay, maybe you just have a familiar." He doesn't. So because I'm questioning him, he's questioning himself. You know, well, maybe I do, but maybe you just have a really familiar face. And I was like, "Okay, well, who do you think? Who do I look like to you?" He goes, "Oh, you look like someone like maybe from TV." Then he kept saying, because I'm not giving up any information, he goes, "Okay, maybe you just, you know, some people just have that face. But God, it's like I know that face." And I said, "Well, I'm just curious." Like, I really was curious. I said, "I'm just curious. Who do you think I could be, or what am I looking like?" And then he goes, "God, you look just like the mom from Keenan and Kell." I died laughing. I was like, "Yep." I did like a thumbs up and turned around, and I did my finger like, "Shh, don't say anything." And then I turned around. He was like, "Oh my God," you know. So that was kind of cute. You know, that was, you know, like a cute moment, and it just reminds you, please don't go out looking cray-cray because of those kind of moments you could have, you know. Thank God my hair was combed. That's all I could say. You know, I think, you know, the short haircut gives it away. You know, it's just like my signature cut.
That was after a couple decades of, you know, really pounding the pavement to get anything. That one just fell into my lap because a previous show I had done, that one you mentioned, Head of the Class, that was on ABC. And two of my acting cronies on the show became very successful producers in their own rights. And they were creators of TV shows for Nickelodeon. Dan Snyder, in particular, created many shows, iCarly and such, and he co-created Keenan and Kell. And they came to me, Dan did, asking me if I knew anybody who was kind of like I don't know if you know this actor named Chris Elliott. He was well known on the David Letterman show. He was like a character would pop up. He'd be the guy under the stairs, and kind of a subversive, kind of edgy type of humor he did. And they were looking for that type of character originally to play Chris on Keenan and Kell. And so I am not particularly edgy. So so Dan just asked me, "Do you know anybody like that?" Because he knew I was taking acting classes, and I'm kind of doing a lot of theater in Los Angeles, so I know people. And I thought about it, and I couldn't come up with anyone, but I said, I'll, you know, give it some thought. And I went through my Rolodex in my head, and I was not really coming up with anybody in particular. And then I kind of forgot about it, and I figured it was already cast. And then a couple months later, Dan and I would hang out on occasion, and he said, "Can I pick you up? I want to show you a computer I'm looking at." I said, "Sure." And on the way, he goes, "Oh, Brian and I, we haven't really found anyone to play that character, but we think we have the perfect person." I went, "Oh, good. Anybody I know?" And he goes, "You." And I just laughed. I said, "What, really?" He goes, "Yeah, do you want to do it?" So I was like, "Yeah, yes." And so that's kind of how it fell in my lap. I was not a shoo-in for the role. Obviously, they told me they looked at like 300 people for it before they kind of went, let's go with Dan because we know him and we think he could do it. So that's kind of how that fell into my lap. And then within, I'd say another couple weeks from that moment, I was from Los Angeles, flew to Orlando to tape the pilot. And actually, maybe the pilot we shot in Hollywood. I forget. But it was picked up, and we shot the entire series in Orlando. Okay, now I'm remembering. There was no pilot. It was just we went right to series. And so the first 2 years were in Orlando, and the second 2 years we moved back here to Los Angeles, which I was happy about because I got to move back into my house after having rented it out, and that's kind of how it went. As a stand-up comedian, to have a live audience and get laughs every week, it was just a dream. It was just adrenaline rush. It was a constant adrenaline rush, is all I can tell you. And it was great. Well, the show itself felt exactly the same. It was much more fun to do in Hollywood since that's where I live, and I made some nice friends in Orlando. But it's always feels you want to know where you want to go where everybody knows your name, to quote another famous sitcom, possibly more famous than ours. So it was great to be back in LA. But otherwise, the show itself was exactly the same. Yeah, that took some time, although we know just from our live audiences and how enthusiastic they would be. Especially when Keenan and Kell came out for their curtain calls before. I'm just like, they were the Beatles. As they might as well have been the Beatles coming out there. I knew that they were very, very popular. How long it would last, I didn't know. I'm really happy that they rerun them and that they're on wherever fine TV is found, that people can still watch them. But I had no idea. The best part, though, was for me was that I had at that time very young niece and nephew in New Jersey, and they came down to visit me in Florida when I did it. But also, my eldest brother has two daughters who are my nieces out here. So they were the perfect ages to watch Keenan and Kell. They would have seen it even if Uncle Danny wasn't on the show. They've been watching the show. So they came to the set and they were in the live audience almost every week. Yeah, just overall memories, just working with the guys, working with Keenan and Kell was just a lot of fun because they're not always on, which is good. But they're just really nice people, and it was really great to work with them. And as the rest of the cast, Teal Marchande, who played Keenan's mom, and Ken Foree. Ken and I hung out a lot, especially when we were in Florida. We'd go do things, and we found a couple of friends to go do things with. We were like a little foursome, 2 gals, 2 guys, and we would just go out on the town, just have some fun. But my favorite episode, I'd say, was one, I forget the name of it, but I played Chris's brother. So that was a lot of fun to shoot. And we did it in front of a live audience. I kept having to go back and forth. They wanted to shoot it real time. So just like, you know, an audience would see it. So it took a lot. It was maybe not as fun for the audience because I have to go change to become my brother and come back out and then go back and then come back out. And they had to set the cameras up in order to do the trick photography to have us both in the same frame, which they, you know, of course, put together in post-production. But I was really happy with how that one came out. So that was probably maybe one of my shining moments. I think also there was another episode where I think I'm thrown out of Mother's. I forget why, but I go to live with at Kenan's house. No, was that the same? No, it wasn't the same episode. Anyway, I've become a real pain in the butt when I'm at Kenan's house. So, but yeah, those were my favorites. I do. Do you want to wait a sec? I'll show it to you. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. Here it is. Da, 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 da. There we go, Rigby's. I saved that from the last show. I felt that Keenan and Kell had run its course. But yeah, with Keenan and Kell, I think after the 4th season, it felt time to finish it up. It would have felt odd, let's put it that way, to come back for a 5th. I would have been happy to come back for a 5th season, but when they announced that this was it made sense. Plus, I'm not sure if they do this anymore, but at that time, Nickelodeon would only run for years of any given show, whether they were successful or not. So I think we knew it going in that we were going to be a 4-year run. You know, it was a chance to really play broad, like Chris. You know, there was no holding back with Chris. I didn't have to like go, oh, was that too much? But no, because if he's mad at Keenan or he's mad at Kell for drinking the orange soda, it's Instagram at Dan Frischman. I have a fan Facebook page, Dan Frischman. Frischman, and I love when people check out my the magic stuff at whodani.com on YouTube.
Hello, everybody, here on the Keenan and Kell Superfan page. This is going to be a very great video. I am joined here by a very special guest, Catherine Mangan, who played Janet on Keenan and Kell for 3 season 2 episodes. Episode 5, Haven't Got Time for the Paint. Episode 7, Ditch Day Afternoon. And episode 10, The Crush. Catherine, how are you doing this evening?
I'm wonderful. I am just so excited to have met you on Instagram, and I just so excited to talk about the show and the past, the great memories.
A lot of people definitely have very fond memories of the past, for certain. Yes. So, how did you get your role as Janet on Keenan and Kell?
So I worked with a casting director in Orlando called Mullins Casting. And I went to high school right across the street, literally right across the street from Universal Studios. So it was called Dr. Phillips High School, and I was in the performing arts program there. And so my agent would call every once in a while and be like, okay, there's a last minute audition across the street at Universal. I need you there. They said, we need you to be nerdy looking, like dress nerdy looking, and wear your glasses, because I am practically blind. Like I always wear glasses, but I didn't have them. And really? I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. I had my contacts in. I was like, oh no, that I don't want to look too nerdy. So I was like, I'll just go over. And my mom drove me over. I was 14 at the time. And I did my audition, and it was just with the casting director, and they were like, come back tomorrow, but like wear your glasses and look nerdy like we told you to look. And I was like, oh, okay, because I kind of tried to dress up. And then came back and I think 2 more times, but they were like, congratulations, Janet, you got it. So I was just super lucky to be in that awesome performing arts program and just be there, every day right after school. We could just hop over and audition. It's kind of like a dream for people that love to perform.
And we had talked before this interview about, I had asked how old you were, because I just had mentioned that I'm a nerd with the numbers and I love stuff like that. I talked to Ken Foree about that. And you had a very interesting story about your 15th birthday. So would you mind sharing that with the people?
Yeah, it's so funny because I never think about that. And then like when you were asking about the numbers, first of all, Ken Foree does not age. It's not fair. That's I have to go back and he's amazing looking and always has been. It's unreal. So I was 14 when we filmed the episodes with it was The Crush and then Ditch Day Afternoon with Kim Fields. So she was a guest director for those, which was like, what do you mean Tootie's gonna be my director? This is the coolest thing I've ever heard. So we filmed those, and then they went away to film Good Burger, I think, like over the summer, and came back. And my character wasn't even supposed to be, she was just supposed to be in that one episode. But then I got to know the Chris's, and they were like, we just love you, and we are gonna write you back into things, which like blew my mind. So anyways, they brought me back for the Haven't Got Time for the Paint one. I think that was the one. Anyways, I was turning 15 that day that we were filming, and my mom always bakes a cake for me, no matter what year or what she's doing. And so she was like, you have to celebrate it. So she brought it in, and I don't even know if the guys knew my name, like, really. Then they were like, Janet, it's your birthday? This is freaking awesome. Like, and the crew and everybody just had a piece of cake. And like, I remember, I don't know why it sticks out, but I remember hearing Jonathan Taylor Thomas was in the building that day too. And wow. I was like, oh my God, what if Jonathan JTT comes and has a slice of my mom's cake? Like, this is amazing. I'm going to rule the world. But alas, I did not get to meet him. But yeah, it was just, I think that's a pretty cool way to celebrate 15. And it's wild because I'll be 40 in June, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. And just I feel so grateful to have had these kind of memories.
And one thing that, I was even curious about, I'm not too sure. It almost looked like your character was wearing a wig. Was that a wig that you were wearing?
No, it was not, but it was not how I do my hair. So okay. It was like, let's see. So that was 90. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's been 25 years.
The episodes aired in 97. So I would assume 96.
Oh, sorry.
97.
So 96, 97. Yeah. Right. Cause that's when I started high school. So yeah, I was a freshman in high school. No. So they just plastered my hair with hairspray. I think that was like the cool thing to do then, but I have like really fine hair, so I don't have a lot of it. And, they just wanted me very coif. And I remember like the hair and makeup team and the wardrobe team were like, yeah, you're the nerd, but you're like the nerd that always wears short skirts. So we don't know. We're trying to keep you cute. Which I guess I'm thankful for.
So prior to you landing your role on Keenan and Kell, I had done some research, and I had not seen any other acting jobs that you had done before. Was this like your first major acting gig that you got?
Yeah, so I had been doing theater since I was little. I just loved the stage so much. But when we moved to Orlando, I was 11, and it was just so exciting. Well, my mom's not a stage mom by any means, but she was like, this is your time. And so like got me headshots and all that stuff. But then when I got my agent in Florida, I didn't even have to audition. My first paid job was like a featured extra on Mickey Mouse Club. Well, MMC. And I was like, that's it. It's my 5 seconds of fame and I made it. And I think I just flirted with Ryan Gosling and like, this is the best day of my life. And so I'd done that. Yeah. And then I got this awesome audition.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Before, the audition and everything with Keenan and Kell, that role, were you familiar with them? Did you like watch them on TV? Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah, we actually went to, I think it was 1 or 2 tapings of all that, because my house is also 4 minutes away from my high school and Universal. So it was just like what you did. And yeah, so we went to tapings of that and watched all that all the time. Loved that show because I was like, man, I think the people that really make it, like forget winning an Oscar, you really make it if you're on SNL. And I was like, this is like SNL for kids. And lo and behold, look at Keenan now. But oh, and there was one, I was on an episode of Legends of the Hidden Temple. You probably don't know that show.
I do. I am familiar with that show.
You are? Okay. Yeah.
I'm a big Nickelodeon nerd. I'm familiar with all the shows.
Sweet. That's awesome. But yeah, I was a green monkey on that. And I thought I was so cool because you like had to take a history test and you had to like climb ropes and do pull-ups and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I did it. But in reality, like I was Janet from Keenan and Kell. Like I am the ultimate nerd.
So what was it like working with Keenan and Kell? How were they like on set, and how were a lot of the cast on set?
Oh my gosh, they were a family, 100%. And I wish I did not get to watch your interview with Ken, but I'm sure he said the same thing. I was only there for 3 episodes, but essentially I was there for 3 weeks at a time with them because we would rehearse all week and then we would film Thursdays and then in front of the studio audience on Friday. And the guys were just, they were already celebrities to me. So I was very shy. I still am such a closet introvert. But they just could not have been more kind and welcoming. Gosh, I can't remember her name now, but I'm sure you know her name, the little sister.
Vanessa Baden.
But yeah, she would just hug me every time she saw me and like snuggle me and just was like the sweet, like I was her, almost, it was like, oh, my sister, like my babysitter got here, like she was always so happy to see me, and they just made me feel so at home. And I mean, it's obviously no surprise that Keenan and Kell are 2 of the most talented people. I love obviously keeping up with Keenan, and he's a force to be reckoned with. And so I keep saying grateful, but I really, really mean that I'm so grateful to have been around his energy, and Kell as well, like just so handsome, so talented. Yeah, they were like the cool kids that you still fit in with.
The thing that really struck me when I was watching those episodes that you were in is that, for someone who, just came on, auditioned, was just kind of learning everything, you were very natural at it. It didn't look like, you just got there, it looked like you had been there.
Oh my gosh. That means a lot to me because I think it was The Crush. So the first one we filmed, but I was just in awe of Kim Fields, obviously. And we had rehearsed I can't even remember what line. Oh, no, it was Ditch Day Afternoon, because the line was, it's Keenan and Kell. And that was the only thing I had to say, but we rehearsed it, and then live studio audience day, she was like, can you do it again? And I was like, oh yeah. And then she had me do it like 10 times in front of and I thought the studio audience was I was like, I do not belong to be here. What is happening? And then she was like, okay, nailed it. And I was like, okay, we can all breathe again. I'm sorry. Like, that was such a weird ism. But yeah, thank you for saying that.
Oh, you're welcome. And that's interesting because you had mentioned some of the later episodes that had aired as coming first prior to the ones that got, so like the ones that were filmed later got aired before the ones that were filmed earlier. That's kind of
I guess so.
a different thing.
Yeah, because but again, it was 25 years ago. So, but I think in my head, the way I remember it, we filmed The Crush, then we filmed Ditch Day Afternoon, and then Haven't Got Time for the Paint. That was the last one.
And they flip-flop them for TV. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Going back to something that you had mentioned, you know, the live studio audience in Orlando, you know, how long like would it take like for tapings, like you know, with the audience there, or like just, you know, not there? Like, I'm just kind of trying to figure that one out.
So we would, from what I remember, I can't believe how long ago. Thursdays we would film for the majority of the day, and just take it slow and like do all the things several times. And then on Fridays, I believe the studio audience didn't come in until the afternoon. So either we came in a little bit later or we would just rehearse. But yeah, they didn't come in until later in the afternoons, because I remember having like a few friends come over from school to be in the audience, and like my brother came over when he was out of school with my mom. And yeah, it's funny watching some of the episodes because you can see there was another girl that went to high school with me that was in the beginning of The Crush. That was one of the people in the audience that asked a question. And my brother's sitting, like my he looks so little, sitting right next to her. And I'm just like, what a great moment in time. But yeah, so I would say like 3 or 4 hours we would film on a Friday. But yeah.
Did you like do table reads at all?
Yes. So the first day, like on Mondays, we would read through it once for sure, and just go over it and then just start rehearsing. And they had so much more material than I did, so there was a lot of sitting around for me. But that was my first time I got to experience craft services. And I mean, like when you have bowls of M&Ms, and I'm sure it's different now, but I was like, I was literally a kid in a candy shop.
That's great. You know, I had, you know, talked to some of my friends, you know, and I had kind of mentioned when I told them I was going to be interviewing you, that like, what's like a famous line, you know, from her character that they, you know, that resonated with them. And the one that was the most popular was when Keenan was giving you the $3, or Kel was giving you the $3 at the locker.
Yeah.
And you said, I think orange soda's icky, you know, and then
I think it's icky.
And then Kel looked like he wanted to fight you. That one stuck with a lot of people. I probably had like 20 people say that was the one that stuck out the most.
Really? I can still hear him in my head be like, you what now? You said what now? Yeah, they're awesome. I would have thought it would have been, it always rings in my head when I'm giving the book report for 45 minutes and it's like blah, 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 blah. And that is why women better than men. Thank you. Because it's so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Do you keep in touch with any of them anymore?
I don't. So this is a funny story. I was about to leave LA. I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, of all places, for a couple of months when I left LA in 2014, almost 2015. But like a couple of weeks before, it was Grammy week, and so I went to a Grammy party it was like a Lincoln Town Car Grammy party. You do weird things in LA, and everybody throws parties. But I went with my friend, and my friend owned this social, I guess it was like a social media, I don't know how to explain. I used to be able to pitch it so well, but it's called Puso Viral. And it would be like giant screens that would pull in all the tweets and like hashtags and tweets for the event. And I was looking at it, and I was being an admin for it, like just because I could. And we were walking around the party, and I saw Kel post something, and I was like by the car that I was just standing by, and I was like, oh my God, Kel Mitchell's here. Like, oh, and I got so nervous, and I don't know why. And I was just like, and I like hid behind, but I'm like, there's no way he would recognize who I am. But I hadn't thought about him in so long. And then I never went to say hi. I totally should have. I'm sure he would have remembered me. I'm sure he wouldn't have remembered my name, but I bet he would have remembered Janet. And I bought something off his website like after that on Instagram and just started following him. But yeah, isn't that funny? Years later, you get so nervous you can't say hi to someone you worked with.
That's funny. When you were on the show and you had mentioned your brother in the audience, and your friend, were there any other like family and friends that came to see you when you were on the show at all?
Yeah, so I remember my best friend, or one of my close friends, her name was Samantha. We were really close. She ended up going to a different high school the next year, but she came that first time. My brother, my mom, my friend Matt Loria. I wish I had found the picture of us, because there's like a picture of us 14-year-olds just hanging out before the show. Matt actually is now very famous, but I think still living in LA. But yeah, Matt Loria, he was on that show Kingdom, the like MMA show. I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's funny that I remember him being there. And then my friend Mark came to that filming, and then we went to a rap, or I don't know which one it was, but there was a rap party, and I remember having the biggest crush on Mark. And I was like, do you want to come to the rap party with me? And he was like, yeah. And so I got to take my big crush to the Keenan and Kell rap party. So I was like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. I win.
That's awesome. And, your time on Keenan and Kell is definitely remembered.
Aww.
Everybody, I think, who watches that show remembers, like, everything that happened if they're, like, a super fan like me. And it has truly resonated with people.
Oh, that makes that. It's just so great to meet you. This is really special for me to be able to talk about it. And yeah, if you ever think of any questions or anything, I'm more than happy. It's so nice to reminisce on it.
Absolutely. And I thank you tremendously for your time with me. It's been great talking to you, Catherine. Everybody, please go follow her. Her page will be in the description. Please go follow her and tell her that you came from the Keenan Kell Superfan interview.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything that we can look forward to seeing you in the future? Or is there any like projects or anything like
right
that?
Now, I am just working hard with Google Fiber, and I'm working hard on my small business, This Princess Life. So if anybody wants to follow This Princess Life on Instagram, and you have kiddos, we do lots of lives and record events and story times and stuff. But yeah, I miss acting so much. So I don't know if it'll be the theater or what, but once life settles, which it never will, sometime soon, I'm sure there will be more projects coming out.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine, for your time. It's truly been an honor, and hope you guys have enjoyed this. And like I said before, please go give her a follow. She deserves it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'll talk to you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.